Welcome to Hashtime with Nabuguzi. This is a place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, emotional well-being, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, consider this your virtual home. I'm your host, Nabuguzi, and I cannot wait to engage with you in the various conversations. I think one of the things that bring us the gravest form of regret when we get to know that someone reached their highest peak of a mental health crisis, or even worse, died by suicide, feeling like I should have known, and asking questions like, oh, why did they talk to me? I mean, you see this a lot on social media, and I'll rely on social media because we highly depend on it in these times. So what I usually see is that their messages start going around. I mean, and they're coming from an honest place. I really understand, from a grieving place. Actually, it might, I don't know if I should say honest because I can't really determine that, but I would imagine that it's coming from a grieving space where someone says that, oh, I don't know how many times I've seen it and how many in a couple of years, you see people starting to share things like, I would rather hear you than bury you. And that what that says is that I'm ready to create space for you to talk to me than have you die by suicide. And I think what's really funny for me, or what makes me roll my eyes when I say this, is I've seen people who in a way pushed me to my highest peak of a mental health crisis, sharing these exact messages. And in my head I was like, what are you talking about? Who is the person you're addressing? If you're sharing it on WhatsApp status or sharing it publicly as a Facebook post, who is your target audience? Is it everyone, or is it just a few people that you are communicating to? Because I myself, I cannot come to you because I know what you can do and cannot do. And one of the things that you may have done unknowingly is push me to my highest peak of a mental health crisis. So what are you talking about that you would rather hear me out than bury me? So I usually scoff. I'm like, oh dear, shut up. But then I'm also cognizant of the fact that much as these people, or much as we may want to help, we barely ask ourselves whether we have the tools to do it. Because what they say is the most important thing when you realize that someone is struggling mentally is creating space for them to talk to you, you know? But even in the lack of awareness of what mental health is, I had moments when I was talking to the people in my sanctum, talking to them about how I'm struggling. I remember when I was working out a heartbreak, like I was really at my lowest, and oh my God. And damn, this girl said to me that it's my fault that I end up finding people that break my heart. Yo. And then some other person, I was talking about my fears and my worries, and all she just rolled her eyes and she like, stop being dramatic, right? And with that, she said it in a way that was sort of trying to affirm my strength, and that I say it in quotes. But then at a certain point later in my life, when I was talking to her about my struggles, she started using the scriptures. She was saying things like, no, You can't say that. It only means you don't understand God. You can't say that you're sad. You can't say that you're feeling hopeless because this, I don't know what scripture she quoted them. And what that did to me was have a huge sense of guilt for not even accepting Christ in his wholesomeness. And it didn't help. It did not work. Much as she may have wanted it to work, it got worse because now I had to carry two burdens. One of me struggling with my social life, and now she is pointing it out for me that my spiritual life is also ugly. It's failing. So I have two heavy stones weighing me down, and she's moving on with her life, feeling like, yes, I talked to her. But have we gotten to moments where we ask ourselves whether what we say to the people around us who may be struggling might be making it worse for them? I think it's important for us to reflect on that. And I wanted us to have this as a point of reflection because we celebrated Mental Health Day and Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in these 2 months, that is September and October. And I felt like it's important for us to actually think about these things. Do we equip ourselves with the tools to help anyone around us that may come to us and share that they're struggling emotionally? It's a lot. Most times you really want to be present for them, but it gets confusing. Like sometimes it's a lot of information that comes to you because when you see someone, sometimes you're like, nothing can weigh down this person. And then, they come at their lowest point and you are actually very confused. It's too much information, and at the same time you want to be able to help. So it somehow brings up a sense of panic where you're like, oh my God, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say so quickly? And before you know it, you say something that, the person is also in shock. What is that? What are you talking about? I remember last year when I lost a friend, and this girl, the house manager in my friend's house, she saw me broken and she was like, oh, so what happened? And I was like, I have a friend who died. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So was it a boy or a girl? Let me tell you what happened. So I was in a state of grief, but I had to pause because I was like, what is she asking? So I had to imagine, because the person that had died is a man, right? And now I had to think through my girlfriends and place them in this man's image or position. And I was like, okay, so if she's the one who had died, would I have wailed more? Or I was like, no, what she asked does not make sense. And I just had to stop thinking because the point is that I have lost someone. I know she wanted to help me talk about it, but sometimes silence is all we need. Sometimes silence is all someone needs. It's communicatory enough. So when someone comes to you and they share that they are struggling mentally, while it might be hard to stay calm when someone shares information that, one, we did not expect, two, is extremely sensitive, try to stay calm. It might be really hard for you to do that, but let that be the first thing that comes to your mind, that, hey, calm down. What you're going to deal with is highly sensitive, and how you communicate might abate it or exacerbate it. So Mental Health Foundation shared some of the general strategies that you may use in terms of helping this person. The very first one is listen without making judgments and concentrate on their needs at the moment. Ask them what would help them. Sometimes they may not know, so it's a process. It's not just a one-day thing that you're going to talk about. Reassure and signposts to practical information or resources. Avoid confrontation. This is the very big one. Things like, you have parents that love you, or parents to their children. How dare you say that you're struggling emotionally when I provided you this and this and this and this and this and this and that? Avoid confrontation. Ask if there is someone they would like to contact. Encourage them to seek appropriate professional help. If they have hurt themselves, make sure they get the first aid they need. And that is it for our reflection this week. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Hashtime with Nabuguzi. If you love what you heard, make sure you subscribe to Hashtime with Nabuguzi in your podcast platform of choice and share it with your friends, loved ones, and everyone that you believe is affected by the millennial world around us. Also, feel free to share your insights about what connected with you on social media and be sure to tag us. We are at Hashtime with Nabuguzi on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter our handle is at HTNK Podcast. If you would like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, do not hesitate to use my inboxes. One-on-one conversation in terms of mental health. Do not hesitate to use my inboxes on social media and also my email, nabuguzi@nabuguzichwanka.com. I'll be very happy to pair you with someone who will help you through your journey to healing. Catch you on Wednesday, and until then, please take care of your mental health. Look around yourself and see who might be in need of help. We do not want to live with regrets. And no, I'm not asking you to go into a moment of anxiety. You cannot serve everyone. That's important for you to know. Help those that you can help.